How's it going, everybody? This is Beat the Bush. This is the Vevor ultra low cost sewing machine. I tested it out and it works just like any other sewing machine. The mechanics are the same, and even if you don't know how, the instruction manual will teach you. I will show you the basics on how to sew in this video. All there is to it is to thread the thread through the proper places in the sewing machine, load the bobbin at the bottom, and also make that thread go in the proper place. Choose what style you want to sew in, and all that's left is to debug the proper tensioning if you've got it wrong with this little knob over here. So let me unbox this thing and show you what's included. Vevor, tough tools, half price. User manual. It's good it has all these detailed instructions here. A number of colored threads pre-built. A thimble, sewing machine needle, a threader, a de-sewing hook, small pairs of scissors, a soft tape measurer. The power adapter, it's only 18 watts. Comes included with a little foot pedal, additional threads on the bobbin, additional needles. This is the platform extender. You can put it on, push it in to lock it in. On the back bottom of the machine, plug in the power adapter and also the foot pedal switch. If you made a mistake and you want to tear all this out, you can use this little tool. Push this under one of the threads and you just push it through to cut the thread there. Just keep on doing that to every few stitches, and then you can just pull it all apart again. This is the foot pedal. I'm gonna put it on the floor now. In terms of sewing machine, this is a pretty low cost one. You have all the basic functionality that'll allow you to sew something. On the left, there's an on-off button for the light. The light is right underneath the work area. Let me turn it off and on. In the off position, the foot switch works. When you switch it on one, it stays on. When you switch it on two, it also stays on. On the front panel, you have different sewing styles that you can choose from. You select it with this switch, A, B, C, D, and also go in reverse, which is just to reinforce that sewing area with a few more stitches. These might look the same, but the stitching is biased to the left, middle, or the right instead. A column is sort of like a sparse stitching, medium sparse, and very dense stitching for C. If you go to, let's say, C9, it's very dense crisscross stitching, and you have different kinds of style that you can select from. A, B, C, and the top allows you to select 1 through 12. 1, 2, and then if you go the other way is 12. Let me demonstrate by threading this through the machine. Goes around this post, around the bottom spacer here, not through the top, through this right side, under this little overhang. You pull this back up, and if this little hook is not up here, you can turn this accordingly to make it come all the way up. Once it's up, you can thread it through that hole, pull on the thread some more, and then thread it through this slot under 4. Thread it through this top hole here. If this is in your way, there's a lever back here that lifts up and down the foot. And you can also turn the knob on the right side to make it come up a little bit. You can use a threader, or you can just do it by hand like I am doing right now. Sometimes it helps to cut off all the fringes first. Just like that. I went from the left to the right, pull this thread under through this little foot hook here, lift that up, and have like about 4 inches going towards the back. Suppose the bottom bobbin is screwed up also, so we can release the foot by pushing this, and it'll come out. Notice how the thread is coming out of this middle hole right now. So we can lift this out, and let's say we need to replace this bobbin with more thread. You can wind it easily on the top here. Get a larger spool of thread, put it on the top here. You can extend this pin up and adjust it to the height. That's correct. Pull this thread over here, pull it underneath the screw, but not underneath the second washer. Thread it through one of the holes and put this on the post. Now you flip it over to the right and press the foot pedal. Get it started a bit by holding onto the thread first, and this little post thing still goes up and down. And now we have this wound all the way. The included roll of thread is actually not as big as it seems. It actually only wound about 3/4 ways full. You have this mechanism at the bottom that does the threading. And it's this little hook here that grabs onto the thread every revolution and does its sewing magic. If the top string is pull taut, I'm gonna do this very slowly now. This little pointy hook will catch onto the string and create a loop right there. And this looping action is what ties every stitch together. When you replace the bobbin, put it in like that. The thread needs to go underneath this piece, so thread it underneath here, and you can put the threader down to reach for the thread. Pull out 4 inches or so, and we can replace everything else. Put the foot right underneath where it was supposed to go and slowly release the upper lever back down. Push this little foot lever thing to lock it. Now when we pull the lever up, it goes with the foot. Make sure this thread goes under the foot again. I've selected B2, which is medium density. Put the cloth right at the start there. Make sure, of course, to not stick your finger underneath the needle. It's going to poke you very badly, so keep your hands away and on the side. You might want to pull on this so it's somewhat taut, but don't pull on it too hard. This lever up here, push it up and it'll come out and it'll release. And then you pull it out a little bit because you want this length of string to be long enough so it won't lose itself in the machine. And now we have the sewed thread. Now look at that. It's very messy on the bottom, isn't it? It's too loose. At first glance, it might look like the bottom is too loose, but all these little loops are actually from the top. So we actually have to tighten the top tensioning, and we can do this just by increasing the tension to, let's say 5 for now, and let's try it again. Put the cloth in, lower the foot. At first I wasn't pulling on the fabric, so it's a little bit loose, but when I added a bit more tension, it seems okay here. Let's try that one more time, but pulling it taut right here from the very beginning. When you're done, lift the foot, and you can just pull it out a little bit. Pull this over to this convenient cutting area and just pull it down and it'll cut it right there. It seems okay. It's not quite straight, but I'm glad it's not bunched up when you select the tensioning correctly. Now let's try other interesting patterns like 9. That might be very useful here. Change it to 9 right there. Make sure the threads are all facing towards the back and in the correct holes. Let's try again. Lift it up, cut it. Look at that stitching. Let's see the back. Oh yeah. This is very nice. I think I'm gonna start making costumes now. So easy, look at that. I'd say it'll take a little bit of practice in order to make this completely straight, but let's try this sew in place thing. Oh, it actually goes backwards. So I'm gonna put it back into forward mode on B. Goes forward. Let's go back. Go forward. See, look what happened here. It's sewed back to back on top of each other a few times, and it looks decent on the back as well. Overall, the results are pretty good, actually. If you guys are interested in getting one of these, it's low cost enough that if you're interested in learning how to sew, think of it like home ec admission fee. You buy this and then you get to learn how. Once you're more confident with it, you might want to go with a bigger machine. If you guys are interested in getting one of these, check out my affiliate link down in the video description below. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time.